Frank, Minnie, and the Happiness Bag. Trees were lusciously green, fruits were abundant, and the air smelled pleasant. Yet Frank was not a happy chimpanzee. He wore a grumpy face all day long. He didn't want to play or join conversations with others. He swung his long arms around with an attitude and shouted loudly at whomever got in his way. Everyone knew to stay far away from Frank. One day, as usual, Frank was walking around the forest in a bad mood when he heard crying from a little monkey on the ground. "Stop crying!" Frank shouted. To his dismay, the crying only got louder. "I am bleeding, and it hurts," the little monkey cried, pointing at her knee. "I need you to stop crying. It's annoying!" Frank shook his head at her. The little monkey sniffled and tried her best to hold her tears back. Frank searched around and snapped a leaf off a nearby tree. He gave it to the little monkey. "Put this leaf over your injury. It will stop the bleeding." With that, Frank walked away. A few days later, Frank saw the same little monkey swinging down towards him from the trees. "Hi, Frank. My name is Minnie. Remember the other day you gave me a leaf to stop the bleeding? The leaf did, and I was able to walk home." "Look, it's all better." Minnie showed Frank the healed wound on her knee. "To thank you, I make this happiness bag for you," said Minnie. "That's good," said Frank, "but I don't need the bag." "No, thanks." Minnie followed and kept talking to Frank. "This is to collect happiness. Let me show you." "I don't need happiness. Go away," shouted Frank. "Yes, you do," said Minnie. "Look, here's a beautiful rock and a nice twig. Let's put them in the bag." Frank stopped the little monkey. "Don't be silly!" He waved her away with his long arms and hurried away. A week later, Frank was stopped by Minnie again. "Good morning, Frank," said Minnie. "Look, I collected more happy things for you." Minnie pulled out a dried-up leaf and a dead bug from the happiness bag. Frank looked at her in disbelief. "Why would a dead leaf and bug make me happy?" "Because there is a story behind them, and the story can make you happy," said Minnie. "The dead bug was a picky eater, and he ate only the tender part of the leaf. He left behind an empty leaf. The bug died because he had no fiber in his diet." "Ha ha ha ha!" Frank laughed. "That is ridiculous, but funny. Go away. I don't need the bag." "But you laughed just now. You are happy!" Minnie exclaimed. Frank did not respond and just walked away. He hadn't laughed for a long time and wasn't comfortable with feeling happy. Frustrated, Minnie went home and told her mother what happened. "I don't know why Frank doesn't want to be happy." Her mother clucked her tongue. Frank dreamed of being an astronaut. He worked hard to become a good pilot and was selected for the space program. He went through months and months of training and was ready to go to space, but the government canceled the space program at the last minute. Frank has been angry ever since because he was never able to become an astronaut. Minnie brightened up. Now she knew why Frank wasn't happy and rejected her gifts. She told her mother that she had an idea to make Frank happy again. The next day, Minnie said good morning to Frank and pulled out a big dark green rock from the bag. "This will really make you happy." Frank glanced at the rock and started to walk away. "I told you to go away. What a silly rock!" "This is not a silly rock. This is a piece from a meteor," said Minnie. "My uncle found it by the creek." Let me see it," Frank said. Minnie handed the rock to him. Frank examined it carefully and looked up at the sky, deep in thought. The rock reminded him of outer space, a place he was so close to reaching. He sighed, returned the rock to Minnie, and walked away sadly. Minnie felt sorry that she had made Frank even more unhappy now. She did not know what to do. She told her mother what happened. "Don't be sad. You did it with good intentions. But you know what? I just read in the newspaper that the government is planning to restart the space program. Maybe you can tell Frank the good news," she said. That was really good news, Minnie thought, as she happily put the newspaper in the bag and ran out to look for Frank. Frank! Frank! Minnie called out when she saw Frank sitting alone on a tree branch. Leave me alone! Frank shouted. Look in the bag and read the news. The space program will be resumed. Minnie handed the bag to Frank. Frank reluctantly took the bag from Minnie and pulled out the newspaper. As he read the article, Frank felt a smile growing on his face and his heart filling with hope. It was true. Now there was a chance his dreams could come true one day. Thank you, Minnie. This news makes me happy. May I keep this article and the bag? Frank asked. Of course, she beamed at Frank. Day after day, Minnie brought items to Frank and told him the stories behind them. They examined the items in the happiness bag and laughed together at her stories. In exchange, he shared his stories of astronaut training and explained the wonders of space to Minnie. Frank and Minnie became best friends. He was no longer the mean, angry chimp that he was before. He was happy.